I don't have slides. We don't like slides. Okay. I'll start with thanking Magicball. Thank you for organizing the amazing event, and thank you for having us present. How many of us have heard of or used OpenClaw? OpenClaw? Uh, it's been quite popular recently. So I think this summarizes what Sketch is. So OpenClaw was built for individuals. Sketch is built for teams. And the README, if you go, OpenClaw is open source. If you go to the README and see the first line, it says OpenClaw is personal assistant you run on your own devices. So this is Peter, who is the creator of OpenClaw. He's telling a CNBC reporter who is trying to set it up that make sure you understand it's your agent. Don't put it in a group chat. And for perspective, if you give it access to your Google Calendar or something and put it in a group chat, it means anyone in the group chat has access to your Google Calendar or whatever tool you've given it access to. So and now there is a backstory to this. We were early adopters of OpenClaw. We started using it around in December when it had around 2,000 stars. And we immediately discovered that this is a huge problem in OpenClaw, although it's awesome. But whatever Himanshu, my co-founder, and other teammates share, everybody has access to everything, and you don't want people to know each other's salaries, right? So we thought that we need to fix this, and we need to probably do more things on top of it. For example, you should know, your agent should know what are its limitations. While it has access to everything, you can't just prompt it to say, don't access this. The idea is that it should have role-based access. It should have access to what you have. It should be able to proactively do stuff for you, just like Harshit was showing. He could configure his agent to send him automatic reminders. You could do more than that. You could give it entire goal, and you could give it a process being followed in your organization. And it should ideally just work towards that goal with that process. Now, this, just like last year was the year of agents, this year is going to be the year of proactive agents. And actually, we should dive right into a demo. Right in the morning, I sent a message to Sketch. Can you check if we are launching on Product Hunt today, which we were supposed to. And it searched in the organization memory that whether it has that information or not. It did not have it, so it looked at the org chart and figured out that Himanshu might have the right information. So it pinged Himanshu to confirm. And he's sitting right there. I think he hasn't replied. So he should do it now, and we'll get the response soon. While we can actually move on and look at the how it works, like what it takes to build something like this. So so the most important thing we all know, and this has been true from last 3 years, that context is the king. So you need context, and where does context live in organizations? So one is who is who, like who is an employee? How do you identify someone as an employee, client, or vendor? Where does information live? The apps you've connected, the apps being used in the company, like Notion, Jira, whatever, and the processes that are followed, which inherently carry the organizational goals as well. So this brings me to the access layers on Sketch. So we've given Sketch 3 levels of memories, just like OpenClaw, as you know, has a memory for you, which it maintains. On an organization level, you need a memory which is personal on the DM level for a user. You need shared context, which is brought in when you're chatting with your colleagues in channels or groups. And you need a high-level organizational memory, which kind of is like the entire context of your organization sitting at one place. Actually, now I can take you to this should be visible. much better. So just showing you around how Sketch carries context of the organization. So this is the org chart, and this is how it identified that who could answer the question which I had asked it, right? Himanshu handles product marketing, finance, admin, and new launches. So since I was asking about a new launch, Himanshu was the right person to answer it, and it was a message was sent to him. You can see you can also have agents in your organization, which means these are the proactive agents which I was talking about. You have agents, specialized agents, which can take a goal, take a process, and proactively work on it and come back to you with whatever the results are, or if they need some permissions. For permissions, they would go to their immediate reportee, and the whole thing works like it would work in a usual organization. We also have scheduled tasks, so you could set up something from here as well as tell your agent, okay, Himanshu is back with a response. We'll come back to this. You could also have skills, which is another expected thing for the agents to have. You have your own personal workspace. If people have used OpenClaw, then they would know what this means. Your OpenClaw basically has access to your machine or a disk, right? And it can read files, it can run commands there. So this is like a personal workspace which it can read and act on. It also has access to your organization level workspace. And this you can assume that this is like a short version of the entire organizational memory. Like I was talking about the calendar example, this is where different people from the organization would give access to whatever apps they work on. So for example, I work on GitHub, so I give access to GitHub, and it can go and check whatever task I could give it. I could also set up a dedicated agent to just monitor my PRs, and if anything breaks, it would just fix it and update the PR. I am going to go back to the example I was showing earlier. So this guy had followed up with Himanshu about the product hunt launch, and he has answered, and we have received the final response from the agent. So this way, imagine there is a CEO who has to report to the board, and they're planning for that. They don't have to follow up with every team for the updates, right? They could just send their agent to say that follow up with sales, marketing, and engineering to get their updates. I'm planning for this board meeting, and you get the response at the end. Yeah, so this is what Sketch is. We are at booth A39. Please drop by. I wanted to give an overview of Sketch architecture. We can talk about it there. And yeah, we're open source. I don't know if I mentioned that. Please give us a star. Thanks, everyone.